Hey guys, thanks for watching. This is video number 3. I'll link to the first 2 if you missed those. And thanks for sending in all your ideas. Yeah, it sounds like it's going to be a really cool group, so I'm excited. The group is going to open tomorrow, so keep an eye out for that. If you filled out the survey, you'll get an email about it. And I'll update the links in the videos. Again, it's only going to be open for 2 days, so if you miss the window, whatever link is in the description is going to take you to wherever you need to be. So there might be, it might take you to a wait list or anything else I'm offering at that point. So yeah, just go wherever the link takes you. If you miss the group, I probably will offer one-on-one coaching. If you want to just talk one-on-one, there'll be a link for that too. So yeah, if that's something you're interested in and you can't get into the group, yeah, you can schedule a coaching session with me, or you're always welcome to send me an email too. I'd love to hear from you guys. So yeah, just moving on. I was going to talk about creative energy a little bit more and then answer some of the questions that you guys have sent in. So we talked about how creative energy is connected to emotions, and INFJs and INFPs, we're feelers. That's what the F stands for. But a lot of us have kind of turned our feelings off. Some of us even have a hard time identifying what our feelings are anymore. I've actually seen people using wheels. There's like wheels you can Google with different emotions on them. And yeah, like a lot of the time we just feel stressed, and stress is masking anxiety, or is anxiety, and that's connected to fear. And fear is usually a secondary emotion to something else that's going on, like sadness. So, yeah, I think one thing that can be helpful to reconnect with your emotions is just writing down each day what you feel that day, and just kind of scanning your body and seeing where you feel certain things. Like if I'm stressed out, usually my back gets really tight, so I can kind of feel stress in my back. There's a few other things that are connected with creative energy. So emotions is one, movement is one, sex is one. That's a different kind of video, but yeah, so if you feel stuck, I mean, just think about ways you can move your body, just get back into your body. And yeah, like sex doesn't have to be anything that doesn't feel comfortable. You can just, wear something that makes you feel sexy. Yeah, it should feel good, whatever you decide to do. Intuition also. We're intuitives, that's what the N stands for. I know that's not how you spell intuition. I didn't make the rules. And we're really disconnected from that too. Like we grow up being taught to pay attention to things in the real world, and intuition is like when we know things that we can't really explain how we know, or we imagine things that have no presence in the physical realm. And yeah, nobody teaches us how to use intuition. So there's a few ways you can kind of start listening to your intuition again. Meditation is one. I resisted meditation for a long time, but I think you're ready for it when you stop feeling resistance to it. And I mean, just practicing using it on like low risk things. Like you can go for a drive and not really know where you're going. Just use your intuition to decide if you want to go left or right. You can draw without knowing what. Just start making shapes. You could write in stream of consciousness. If you want to try meditating, I mean, it's really just about getting quiet and listening for messages from yourself, from your subconscious. Just breathing deep and listening. When I meditate, I mean, I'm always just thinking, overthinking about my day, about things I'm worried about. So I kind of just give myself permission to do all that first. I just do all the thinking, and then I say, okay, now I'm going to get quiet, and then I get quiet. So I just get all the thinking out first. Yeah, so movement, sex, emotions, intuition are all ways to help connect with your creativity. One of the things that was sent in was feeling really distracted all the time, having too many thoughts, having trouble focusing, being too busy. And again, I think timers can help with that. There's a timer I use called the Pomodoro Timer. This guy named Pomodoro kind of came up with this concept that people focus best in 25-minute increments. So it's a 25-minute timer, then you take 5-minute breaks in between, and that's supposed to kind of leverage your focus as much as possible. I'll link to that in the description. For me, I think, I mean, I'm a workaholic, and I think I use that as a distraction. And I have anxiety officially, and it seems like a lot of us deal with anxiety. I think that can be part of it too, having trouble focusing, feeling too busy. It can be tied to anxiety sometimes. And, you know, it's okay to have trouble focusing. I think the first thing is just like not feeling like you're bad or that you're doing anything wrong because you have trouble focusing. Just accepting that that's okay. Just letting that be okay. And yeah, I mean, anxiety is kind of like a fear-based energy, and fear is usually like a secondary emotion to sadness. So I think sometimes we use work and being busy to distract ourselves from old wounds that are still stuck in our body that we haven't really dealt with. When you numb pain, you also numb joy. So many of us have just spent our lives swallowing pain and just dealing with it, and we haven't really dealt with that grief. And I think it can kind of end up presenting as anxiety. I mean, it's not fun. It's not fun to dig up that stuff. But I think it does help it does help get it out of your body. And I'm not a mental health professional. Please don't take this as medical advice. I'm just speaking from my own experience on that. Yeah, so I think using timers and slowing down. Just anxiety is like when you're stuck worrying about the future, and depression is like when you're stuck thinking about the past. And if you can just learn to be more present in the moment, I think that helps too. And one thing I learned from therapy was just taking one day at a time. Just focus on what you can do today, or even just this hour, or even just this minute. Just slowing everything way, way down. Not worrying about what you want to have done in the future. Just focusing on what you can do in just that day. One other thing I've learned for anxiety is a special breathing called diaphragmatic breathing. if you think about when you're in fight or flight, like you're breathing into your lungs, your body's getting ready to fight or to flee, and you can feel really short of breath, like exasperated, if you're breathing in your chest. So diaphragmatic breathing is breathing through your diaphragm. It's the same way babies breathe when they're like sleeping nice and peacefully. So you can practice it by like putting one hand on your chest and one hand on your stomach, and you just breathe. Try to breathe like you have a balloon under your stomach that you're inflating and deflating. So just try to get your bottom hand moving and keep your top hand still. So if you think the busyness has anything to do with anxiety, that stuff might help, and I think the timers also. There was a question from last time about keeping up with your characters, and I did have some ideas on that. So again, intuitive people sometimes will have characters just come to them and start throwing things at you, and I wish I had that. I don't have it. Maybe one day I will, but yeah. And choosing what to work on, like these things are kind of tied together. Just having so many things and trying to decide what to work on. So the characters, if you have characters coming to you, I think that's an exception. In general, if you have trouble deciding what to work on, I have this problem where I spend so much time trying to decide what to work on, that I waste time, and I could have worked on both things in the time I'm wasting trying to decide. I think that's another place where you could just use your intuition. Just work on whatever feels good. I think there's some kind of magic in writing things down. So one thing you could try would be just writing all your projects down and just looking at them and just seeing what feels good. Just check in with yourself, with your intuition. Anxiety and intuition, for me, they don't work together. If I'm anxious, my intuition is not there. It's easy to kind of confuse them for me. It's something I've been working on, is separating what's anxiety and what's intuition. So if you feel anxious, you might want to come back to this when you feel calmer, but just write your projects down, check in with your intuition. Usually you'll get a really quick answer. It's going to be like an immediate yes or no, and you're going to second guess yourself about it. But just trust it. What's the harm? It's fun. It's fun to try trusting your intuition on things that really don't have a downside. It feels good to just be like, yeah, I'm trusting myself. There's not really a wrong answer. There's not really a wrong answer on what to work on. The characters, though. One more thing about choosing what to work on. The other thing I wanted to say was your ideas are always going to be there. You're always going to have access to those ideas, to those other worlds, whatever you're working on, it's always going to be there. So I think also just trusting that it's always going to be there for you to come back to helps. It takes a lot of the pressure off. The one exception, and I don't have experience with this, so I'm kind of guessing on this, but I think it's really important to have a good relationship with your characters. I've heard that if you don't listen to your characters, they kind of disappear on you. And if your characters make you uncomfortable because they have some shadow stuff that you have, that you share with them, you try to kind of ignore that part of them or force them to be different, and then your characters disappear on you again. So there's like this important relationship of listening to your characters and accepting their flaws even if it makes you uncomfortable, or their story, even if it makes you uncomfortable because of your own stuff. So your characters want to feel listened to, and if you don't have time to like sit down and write, if your characters are talking to you and you don't have time to sit down and write, then I would just take notes, like a voice recorder. Or one thing I do is I'll text myself, because I pretty much always have my phone on me. I'll send texts to my email address. So if I have an idea, I don't want to sit down and write it, I'll just send a text to my email address. I have hundreds of emails that are just like random ideas. So I think that's a way to like record what your character is saying, even if you don't have time to sit down and actually write, or the voice recorders. So that's my idea on that. And the last thing was money. Just, wanting to make money doing what you love. Just wanting to make money doing what you love. And I think that's what everybody wants. I think a lot of people have some stuff around money. Like, a lot of people feel like if you want money, it's greedy, or like money's evil, or only evil people care about money or have a lot of money. And money is neutral. Money has whatever meaning you assign to it. It's just a representation of resources. I mean, it's, we didn't used to have money. It used to be like food or whatever. But like, money is just any other resource. It's neutral. You don't have to feel greedy for wanting money. You deserve to have nice stuff. Like a lot of us think, like, to be a really good person, like, we shouldn't care about money, or we shouldn't care about having nice things. I don't agree with that. I think it's okay to want nice things, and it's okay to charge money. And if money's good or bad, if you're making it in an ethical way, that's up to you. That's totally up to you. I think wanting to make money doing what you love is great. Feeling like you have to make money doing what you love can put a lot of pressure on you. Whatever mindset you're in when you're creating, that's kind of getting infused into your work. So if you're working from a place of, this needs to be a success, this needs to make money, that can cause problems because you're infusing that stress into that work that you're then sending out into the world. You're sending that stress out into the world. So I think it's a great goal to have. I think I would just be aware of whether you feel like you're putting pressure on yourself by doing that or not. Because I think, people who want to make money doing what they love, they want it to be about the creation. They don't want it to be about the money, but we all need money, and that's okay. And I mean, there's so many business strategies for how to make money doing what you love. The book I would recommend for that is a book called Launch by Jeff Walker. It was recommended to me. It's what I'm using now to launch this course. I think with any kind of art, people love watching artists make stuff. So I don't know what projects you're working on specifically, but I think just letting people in on the process is a good place to start. I think people like watching artists make stuff. So if you're writing a book, you could write blog posts. Like, the blog posts could be the beginnings of your chapters. Or if you're doing a painting, people love to see, like, the sketch that you start out with, and then the base colors that you're using and then the highlights that you add. So I think just inviting people in to be part of the process instead of just focusing on the finished product, I think people really connect with that. So that's everything for now. The group is going to launch tomorrow. I'm still ironing out the details. I really want all of you in there. So I think I might just make the group free and have the live sessions be paid. And that way you can still talk to everybody even if you can't make all of the sessions. That might change, don't quote me on that, but that's what I'm thinking right now. And yeah, I think that's it for today. Thanks for sending everything in. Please contact me, even if you miss the group opening. If you just have feedback or if you have questions, please contact me. I'd love to hear from you. And yeah, I will have something ready for you guys tomorrow.